respected chairpersons, and my dear friends. It's nice to be with you all and share a few thoughts in this domain, technology applications in medical education. But over the years, I think medical education may be a too narrow area. I will as well elaborate a little on health applications, which is a broader field. As the chairperson rightly pointed out a little while back, we have too many courses, too many medical colleges, and too few teachers. If we could consider introducing some standardized method of teaching, probably nothing better than technology could help us in this process. MCI in 2008 came up with certain guidelines telling there should be a skills lab, there should be a facility for e-library, there should be a AC computer room with internet facility, 25 nodes, lecture theatres must have virtual facility for e-classes, etc. And most importantly, they said in a year's time it should be implemented. See what happened at implementation. There was a differential interpretation of what the MCA sincerely believed which will transform medical education in India. They just put on computers, dummy machines. I call them dhoti-clad computers because when I go as MCA inspector, they just remove the cloth from the 25 computers and say these are the computers kept in for the sake of MCA purpose. When I ask where is the content, absolutely no answer, they're just dumb. In other words, what I'm trying to say is, what sincerely began as an MCA initiative to be a teacherless teaching system ended up as a studentless learning system. We need to address this issue very seriously because it's just not MBBS. It involves the entire health spectrum. You name it, everything under the word health and health education comes under this. Need for content, it can be in any form, DVDs, CDs, net, up-to-date material for postgraduates, for research papers, etc. And here we as teachers can play a very primary role as content generators. I have had experience in purchasing software from the West at prices which I've been paying through my nose. But I believe we have the competence to do it ourselves. This is where I have made some sincere attempts to do it, and I have had a certain amount of success. Unfortunately, the paying capacity of Indian markets has not been too very good. Nevertheless, when you look at a global scenario and when you can tie up with publishing companies or other software companies, you could broaden your business potential also. At the same time, you as a teacher may be able to fulfill your happiness of having contributed to the world knowledge. Ultimately, watch the word content is king. Being an anatomy professor, it's a visual science for me. Therefore, I have done most of my work in the domain of multimedia. I have found that the kind of meaningful communication that I can achieve using computer technology has been tremendous. I will show you a few examples. This model I have adopted and I have found it to be extremely, extremely successful. This is what you now hear in the web as the Khan Academy model, where content is available. Whatever I need to give as a didactic lecture is now made available to my students through a learning management system, a platform. My students go through it well in advance, and in the class, I discuss with them the clinical points, the clinical applications, and thereafter I bring up the anatomical relevance. Similarly, slowly the other departments are also following the lead that I have given. This is the famous Khan Academy model. Some of you who may not know about this Khan Academy model, it was just Uncle Khan who was trying to teach his relative using small video clips of some topics. And then this became a revolution until one fine day, some big names, I would say, the Microsoft chief said, my children are using this program for learning purposes. Slowly, universities started recognizing Khan Academy as a very good web, authentic web source for information. So when this can happen as a world revolution, why not we in the medical field take it up on a serious note? And I'm beginning to see results in my institution. I have done a number of research studies, and I don't need to discuss with you, but research generally tells me that for every paper that proves technology is good enough, there is also a paper that tells, well, it may not be good enough. The answer lies in the strategy by which you use technology. I will show you one or two kind of animations which we have used for teaching purposes. Now, we move from the old criteria that students should be taught and, they dare not make mistakes. A model like this, we let loose on the student, we give him the freedom, we put a drip line, we tell him, you add a drug of your choice. There is a pharmacology professor here who will be able to give more details. The student for the first time has the freedom to make mistakes and learn from his mistakes. You can completely stop the heart, you can speed up the heart, you can increase the valve size, you can virtually play with it in whatever dimension you want, and you can see the results of the disaster in real time. Now, what I'm trying to say is, very costly media like mannequins, etc., has its own role, as you saw in a previous session. But nevertheless, even simple programs like this can bring home a point of how to apply the knowledge in real-time scenarios and learn by making mistakes. For the first time, a major revolution is happening in medical field where making mistakes is a way of learning in a virtual environment. Once again, I re-emphasize what I shown to you in an earlier discussion about the airline industry. There are commercial interests trying to invest on this, whereas in the medical world, we do not have champions yet to make the necessary innovation. These were a few thoughts I thought I should share with you. Like Professor Jay Mohan told, we have also moved into this model of a learning management system. We went by the advice of Christian Medical College. They have a LMS called TUSCS from the TUSCS University. We took their advice and they told us in the last 6 years we have been using it, and we went by their word. One thing, there is no software in the world where it is 100% perfect or reliable. It is, some areas it's very good, some areas not very good. They were also very sincere to tell us, well, these are the good areas, these are the bad areas. Nevertheless, we have gone by their word. This January, we have started using the same software. Dr. Mary Lee was with us and she has initiated the process. Maybe in a year or two, we will also be able to share our success or failure stories with you. Thank you all.
That is wonderful. I like that terminology of blending learning, computer-based as well as instructor-led learning as such. And and I also like the terminology that you use, that it must have clinical relevance. Otherwise, learning anatomy is the fundamental, number one, basic science that is required in the making of a physician or a surgeon. It's quite important that the students learn it. Thank you very much, Professor Balasubramanian. Now we have Professor Bharat Soni from the University of Alabama, Birmingham, which you heard yesterday is one of the largest or second largest universities in the United States. And he would talk to us about ND visualization. ND, like we said, 3D, 4D, 5D, N times D visualization, simulations, and mixed reality engineering in healthcare education and training. He heads the Department of Mechanical Engineering, teaching research and development, and has service outreach and technology transfer activities. And his group at UAB has a long history of contributions in cross-disciplinary research and education. So request Dr. Soni to give us his talk on this. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me first thank Dr. Ganapathy for the invitation and Dr. Sangeeta Reddy and Apollo Group for having a vision to organize and promote a very important area, which is important to not only healthcare, but general area of education, training, and design. One of the things I've been dreaming about, and since yesterday we are thinking about dreaming and making that dream a reality, and I would like to make this dream a reality using virtual concepts. Being in engineering, I have a long history of doing computer simulations using science-based, basically using Newton's model in higher dimension and doing simulations around aircrafts and engines. Since last 10 years coming to UAB, I started looking into healthcare. And it's been a very rewarding experience, and I would like to share some of the things we have done. And coming from the aerospace industry, you know, the virtual reality has been widely used in training pilots. And pilots are being trained using virtual reality. Why can't we use the similar concept for training health professionals as well as in all different areas? So that's the dream we are dreaming of. So this slide basically represents wide spectrum of activities. You can see aircrafts and engines, but at the same time in the corner you can see the model of pelvis and human heart and things like that. We started looking into the simulation